Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your October 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now if you hear any snoring or bone chewing in the background, that is Esme, and she does sound like a human being when she snores, and Esme is my dog. Alright, now before we get into this reading, and if you're interested in any of the cards I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Sagittarius, October 1st to the 15th, 2021, Sagittarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We start off with the Hierophant. Now, if we have Taurus energy within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully here at our root. Then we have Judgment. That's very interesting. It's like through our traditions, through our way forward, we find a new path to ourselves. We have the Eight of Healing. This is equivalent to the Chariot in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but we have healing here in the Major Arcana of the Witch's Wisdom deck. And we have the Messenger of Fire. Now, as fire sign energy, we are represented by the Messenger here by the Page in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And so here, there's going to be messages about us moving forward towards our fire, towards our determination, towards what it is that we want and love within our lives. The Three of Swords, emotionally, we're going to need to face things that have held us back before, need to look at things that have been, a hurt, a pain, a disappointment to us, something that has kept us small, kept us held back. And then it leads us to the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is celebration, success, bounty, a sense of being able to celebrate who we are and where we want to be and why we want to be there. The Ten of Swords comes into play in the public arena. We can feel doubtful and overwhelmed. There is a sense of the darkness before the dawn. So there is this sense of, I have to face this before I can kind of morph my life into what it is that I want to be. And then it leads us to the Magician. As above, so below. As we believe it, so it becomes. There's power and there's beauty and there's intensity to us here that is really quite exquisite. Now let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Sagittarius needs to be mindful of? October 1st to the 15th. And we have the Freyalt. Now, Freyalt in the Druid Craft deck is us, Sagittarius. So we have to be mindful of getting in our own way. We're also going to really be drawn to people who agree with us, who dive deep into things, who are curious, who are, determined, who are passionate and fiery, but again, have this immense sense of curiosity. We have to be mindful, especially because we're going to do the astrology during this reading as well as what the tarot is saying, especially with the 1st of October being Mercury squared Pluto. We're going to have this intense curiosity, and it can start off our whole entire month, and at least these 15 days, with the sense of, I'm going to dive deep. I'm going to dive deeper and deeper and deeper into everything. And the people who are just on the surface, the people who don't know everything that they're supposed to know, I'm not going to have time for them. I'm not going to have time for nonsense or, superficial things, which, that could be great, but we have to watch and be mindful of our intensity during this time, because it can just be a little bit overpowering. We need to do something fun and relaxing and joyful that grounds us to the earth and lets us be able to celebrate ourselves. It doesn't always have to be so terribly serious. And that's going to be something that we kind of struggle with during this time. Now let's look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. We have abundance, which is the root chakra. At our very root is this call for prosperity and abundance and bounty. Now, we look at abundance and we usually think of something absolutely over the top lavish. And yes, that is a part of abundance, and that is an extreme of abundance. But abundance is also being able to pay our bills on time, being able to be surrounded by family and friends who love us and who understand us, and a richness of soul and of spirit that really helps us embrace our life. Abundance is at our root, this sense of celebratory joy within our lives, within ourselves, and this movement forward, contented in where we stand. And so as we embrace our root chakra, we can, yes, call forward more wealth, and yes, say that we want to expand ourselves in newer and greater ways. But there's also this need and this joy of being present and of saying, you know what, it's not the big house, it's not the fancy car, it's not the more and more and more that brings abundance and joy and prosperity into my life. It is the subtle realization and understanding of the grounding of myself, and of the celebration of where I am and where I want to be. Now, once again, on the 1st of October, because let's look at let's look at the astrological alignment of this time before we dive into the tarot, or as we are looking at the tarot and then we dive in a bit more. Mercury is going to be squared Pluto. And if we remember from the full moon reading, we have a tendency, everybody has a tendency with Mercury squared Pluto to just dive deeper and deeper than we need to. We can become a little bit obsessed about things. We can become absolutely we can find ourselves binge watching, there we go, things on YouTube, learning all about whatever it is. I find that I've been launched into skincare and self-care and everything like that, to the point where really it's enough and I have to stop. So here, there's going to be that sense of doing your research, going deeper and deeper and deeper. It will benefit you, yes, if you are doing research, if your work needs research, to really embrace the finer details of everything. But it will also become all-consuming. And we really need to be mindful of that. And we can be feeling that energy right now. We can actually feel that energy a bit, further on into October, because, again, curiosity is one of the main staples of a Sagittarius energy. And so we have to be mindful of how deeply we fall down that rabbit hole, how much we want to learn, how much we want to dive deeper into things. And, learning is a magnificent thing, but sometimes when that learning becomes obsession, that's when we have to step back. And we also have to be very mindful of things that are kind of building up an insecurity within us, a sense of you just have to be better and better and better, or you just have to know more and more and more. And that is really going to play off, again, of our natural curiosity, and also put us in a very precarious space where we're not really seeing our abundance. We have this stress to us now. Now, on the 2nd of October, Venus is going to be sextile Pluto. Now, we become more passionate about everything that we love during this time. Our love and our joy and our enthusiasm just absolutely comes out. We feel things very deeply, so we have to be mindful about this. Also, in the fact that not everybody's going to get as excited about things as we are, and so we have to step back and say, okay, if this person isn't interested in what I'm talking about, it doesn't mean that they're not interested in me or that I'm, not worth anything. Because again, we're going to have a tendency to take things very personally. So do be mindful of that. On the 3rd of October, Mercury is going to be trine Jupiter. This brings a wider point of view and a very fun outlook on life, because it's like, I can do anything, I can see anything, I can understand everything. It's not saying that we become omnipotent or all-knowing, during this time, but what it means is that we have this really fun, playful energy of everything's welcome, questions and seeking and finding and greater understanding and just respect for everybody is going to be really helpful for us and really balancing for us. We have this great energy for planning for the future and also seeing the things that need to be smoothed out in the present, in the here and now. Now on the 6th of October, we have the new moon in Libra, which is going to bring us new beginnings, as all new moons do. And we'll go deeper into the ins and the outs of the new moon in Libra in a separate video. We also have Pluto going direct. Now, if we are more sensitive, this Pluto going direct can be very impactful for us right now. And it can have lasting impact because Pluto coming out of retrograde leaves us leaving behind, okay, this sense of control, this sense of needing to control, this controlling energy. We find ourselves being able to let go. But we also have a fear around letting go that has been amplified because of Pluto being retrograde. And now that Pluto is going direct, we find ourselves ambitious and focused, and we have this need for empowerment energy, this energy that builds us up and leads us to the place that we want to be. We start to change ourselves, to start to find our adventure, to start to say what it is that we want and what it is that we desire. This changing of ourselves isn't a bad thing. It's not like we're changing ourselves for anybody else, but we're embracing and embodying this glory to be able to open up the door and to say, this is me. On the 7th of October, Venus moves into Sagittarius energy. And this brings a live and let live attitude, but this also really brings a don't tell me what to do energy to us. And if we can take this day off, I don't know what day in the week it is, but if we can take this day off, if we could find a way to make this day about self-care and self enhancement, joy, beauty, just like surround ourselves with things that we love, that would be the best thing for us because we can be a little bit on edge on the 7th. On the 8th of October, the sun is conjunct Mars, and this brings us this hero energy, but it makes us have a little bit of a hot temper because it's like, I got this type of energy. So we do have to be mindful of that. But other than that, it's the sense of stepping into our hero's power, stepping into our blessings, knowing our desires. Now, on the 9th of October, Venus meets with the sun in Scorpio. And what this brings us is this opens the third eye chakra and brings us this intensity of insight and awareness. It also is called the gate of creativity. And so as we step into this power, as we step into this beauty, we start to create what it is that we desire. We start to look at things openly and honestly. With the third eye being open, we start to see ourselves more openly, more honestly, more powerfully than ever before. With Mercury conjunct Mars, we are quick of wit and quick of mind, and this is a great time to increase our flexibility, to either start yoga or to, make sure that we set aside time to practice yoga, and just that flexibility of body and, and spirit is going to be so important. We can tend to be very direct during this time, which is very interesting. On the 9th of October, with Mercury conjunct Mars, we're not going to want to sugarcoat things. We're going to be very direct and to the point. And yet, with the third eye chakra being opened and the gate of creativity really calling to us, we're going to have the sensitivity to us. And so what's going to be is that everybody's going to be just a little bit sensitive on this day, okay, because their third eye is being open. They're seeing things more openly, more honestly than they have before. It's coming to a greater alignment of what they need and desire in this world right now, and embracing the creativity of how to go about that. But everybody's going to be to the other person, not to themselves. They're going to be very sensitive when dealing with themselves. But to the other person, we're going to be more direct, more sharp-tongued, more to the point of things. And we're going to think, why? I'm just telling you the truth. Like, why? This is what you need to hear in order to get yourself to the next level. And everybody's going to feel this way. Everybody's going to have these little pearls of wisdom to hand out on the 9th of October. And we're all going to be just a little bit sensitive, a little bit, taking them too much to heart. So just be mindful about this. If you can set a wall around you and visualize, mirrors facing outward and just have this golden energy around you to say, nothing is going to stick to me. Nothing is going to wound me this day. That'll be very important. On the 10th of October, Saturn becomes direct. We become more focused and more responsible at getting the things done, more reliable, more responsible, and we are much more down to earth. Now, what happens during this time also is that we become more aware of our limitations, which you would think would be a bad thing, but this is actually a very good thing. It's like, okay, I know I can do this well, and I know I can do this well, but this I kind of stink at. So I'm not going to say I have to do this perfectly. I'm going to say, you know what, maybe somebody else can do this, or maybe, I'm not as harsh on myself, and I know that this is going to be my struggle area, and so I'm kinder to myself when I have to do whatever it is that I don't really excel at. But we're going to find ourselves more willing to delegate during this time, more willing to be aware of what we're good at and what overwhelms us, and not to let ourselves be overwhelmed by putting all of that on our plate and saying, well, not until you're an expert at it do you get to whatever. So we're also going to be really good at seeing long-term goals and being very clear and practical about what we need to do to get to where it is that we want to be. On the 3rd of October, Venus is going to be sextile Saturn. This is a time to be around family and friends and really embrace what we love. Now, we can have a tendency to sacrifice for the good of relationships. Now, this isn't just going to be with family and friends, this can also be with work. We are going to have this tendency to kind of fall on our sword and say, oh, but I did this for the other person. I did this for the betterment of whatever. If that isn't seen, it's going to be very annoying to us, very aggravating. So we have to be respectful of why we're sacrificing, or if we even want to sacrifice for someone. So do be mindful of that. On the 15th of October, the sun is going to be trine Jupiter. This makes us lucky and generous and happy, and it's just larger than life energy. This can bring us intense spiritual awareness and awakening, and we just have this love for sharing knowledge. Everybody on the 15th, this is the best day to kind of end these readings at, because this only goes up to the 15th, because we're all going to be wanting to share our emotional, spiritual knowledge. We're all going to want to be, helping everybody else along, like giving out that extra hand is going to be so important to us. We are going to be a little bit too generous, a little bit too indulgent during this time, so do be mindful of that. Now, to dive into the tarot, we see the Hierophant here. Tradition is going to be very important to us. We like traditions, and we're going to like to have a bit of a schedule during this time, even though this is very much a sense of embrace what you love and dive deep into things and, let your heart shine type of time. It's going to be very important for us to know what we want, to know what we desire, and to kind of look at our long-term goals. There is also going to be a need for us to be true to ourselves, not to what everybody else wants or what everybody else expects. This is a time for us to be who we truly, naturally, and empoweringly are. And as we do this, we can feel judged by others. We have judgment coming in, but with judgment, there's this sense of rising out of this realm of being judged, this realm of caring what everybody else thinks and why. And we start to embrace who we are, what we're developing, what we want, what we need, and where we're headed. And as we do this, there is this real sense of healing around us. And this moving forward, if you see here, there's spirits around us all connecting, hand-holding. We're being connected with ancestral power. We're being connected with the loving energy of the earth and of our way forward and of what inspires us and what doesn't. And so here we start to embrace our hearts. We start to embrace our souls. We start to embrace ourselves. We start to heal. Our inner self is all about connecting with our inner child and really being able to heal on the things that have kept us held back, the things that have kept us stubbornly set and only looking at it one way and not another. And so this is going to be the time that we start to say, why? Why not go after my hopes and my dreams and my wishes? Why not, fall in love with the person I once was? The person who had the big dreams, who didn't know that they couldn't, who embraced their love and their joy and their passion and their insight and their ideas. With the Page of Fire, with the Messenger of Fire, we start to see this coming forward within us. We also are going to be getting messages. Yes, that make us a little bit stubborn, because we're going to know either I'm on the right path or this isn't right for me. This isn't what I'm doing. We can find ourselves very drawn to the darker side of things, okay, when it comes to healing and when it comes to the Three of Swords within our emotional self. And this could be, true crime. This can be, what else? This could be murder mysteries, really gruesome murder mysteries, and even, horror. We're going to find ourselves drawn to this, or we're going to find that it sticks in our heads. And we need to be very mindful with what we want what we watch and how that is affecting us. So it can be, murder mysteries on television. It can be, reading about them, can be on YouTube. We just need to be mindful about this and not be drawn in, because we're going to find that our energy is going to be very sensitive, and we're taking things in as students, as learners, as, developers. And this is going to be a time where we really have to be mindful of what we're feeding ourselves, because as above, so below. And either we can feel caged and stuck, or we can feel exuberant and healed, and as if we get to celebrate every success that comes our way. And that's just going to be, how we take in our energy. If we like watching murder mysteries and things like that, watching Murder, She Wrote or Columbo, or even, Brokenwood, though some of Brokenwood can be a little bit intense. So just be mindful, just be really mindful of what resonates with you and what doesn't. Because we're moving into the Three of Swords. And as we're healing our hearts and we're healing our inner child, we're going to see things that have stabbed us in our back, things that have held us back, things that have made us think that we just couldn't, the hurtful, hateful words of others that have stopped us. And with the Three of Swords, we're looking at things and saying, why am I still held here? Why is this still keeping me from doing what I need to do, or being who I need to be, or embracing what I need to embrace? And so the Three of Swords comes in. And with the Three of Swords is we have to look at those blockages, and we have to be able to name those blockages. And then say, you know what, no, you're not the sword in my back that's keeping me huddled down. You're not what defines me. I am what defines me. And as we do this, we not only eliminate this hurt, this poison from us, we start to celebrate ourselves in a way that we've been afraid to, in a way that we felt too overwhelmed to. The Six of Wands comes in and it says, celebrate you. Celebrate a job well done. Celebrate a life well lived, even if we've made mistakes along the way. Celebrate a spirit and an essence of who we are and what we need and how we're moving forward in our lives. Because if we don't celebrate us, who the heck will? It's not being cocky. It's not walking around like I'm the best thing since sliced bread. What it is it's saying that I'm here on this earth for a reason, and I get to love and cherish who I am. I get to embrace what I want to develop within my life. I get to embrace my path and my soul and my heart and my desires. And it moves us then to the Ten of Swords. It moves us to the darkness before the dawn. We can feel this in our public arena self, where we start doubting, we start feeling caged and overwhelmed and thinking, can I do this? Can I move forward the right way? Am I doing this the right way? And so what happens is all the questions start coming up and we feel overwhelmed. We can feel, as if we're not doing things as well as we should be. And then we start to see that this is a pattern. We start to see the ways we've been held back before. And then we start to see that every single sword that has been put in our back, because remember, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is a person laying on the ground with 10 swords in their back. It's overkill. We can start to find ourselves obsessing about things, because the only thing we want to be is perfect, and the only thing we'll never be is perfect. And we have to come to that conclusion, that there's always going to be something better, something more out there for us, or that we think is out there for us, before we become contented within ourselves, or at least acknowledge, why we're feeling upset, why we're feeling tired, why we're feeling overwhelmed. And then using the knowledge of the hurts and the pains that we've been through throughout our life to pull the swords out of our back and be able to embrace ourselves and what we want. We then start to become the magician. As above, so below. As we believe it, so it becomes. We become more ourselves. We become powerfully us, and that's what this time is about. It's about embracing the power of you. The magician stands before the altar of his being and says, this is me, loud and proud. Starts to embrace the elemental prosperities and abundances and, intricacies of our lives. And as we do this, and as we embrace who we are and who we want to be and how we're developing and where we're going, we start to kind of fall in love with ourselves a bit more. We become very mindful of our thoughts. Are they negative thoughts that are whirling around in our head? Are they positive thoughts? Is this a sense of love for self? Or is this a sense of being overwhelmed? And as we fall into alignment with what we want, as we start to bless our intentions, we start to see a little bit of magic in our waking world. And this is just the sense of acknowledging the good, acknowledging the prosperous, acknowledging the bountiful within our lives and within ourselves. It leads us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And this is the star. Now, this is Aquarius energy. This is also a sense of being too wrapped up in wishes. I wish this was true. I wish that were true. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Without truly embracing this sense of, this is who I am. This is what I want for my life. And this is how I'm determined to move forward. We need to kind of really embrace the practical during this time and not be kind of just emboldened, not even emboldened, but to not be lured away by something that we think is better. We're also going to be really drawn to people with really tremendous dreams, or who spend their life dreaming and not doing. They're the ones who are always going to, yeah, I'm getting there, and yet they never actually do it. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy. And this is listening. This is the throat chakra. So often when we think of the throat chakra, we think about speaking, and our world is really good at filling itself with noise. We as human beings are really good with filling ourselves with noise. What we need to do here is we need to listen to our hearts, to our souls, to ourselves, to what we wish and desire from our world, to what spirit is telling us, but also to the places in between words when we're talking to people. It's not always going to be about what is said. It is going to be about the connection that is had, the silence that is shared. And that's going to be very important for us, Sagittarius. Our subconscious rooted message is justice. This is Libra energy, cutting through doubts and fears, but being just to ourselves, knowing what it is that we want and where it is that we need to be and how it is that we need to move forward. This is about being discerning. This is saying I can't let all the energy in. I can't let everything in and everyone in, or take everything and everyone so seriously. I need to make space and keep space and hold space for me. And as we become more discerning, we move to our subconscious inner self message. And that's the two of air. I love how the trees look like lungs. We start to embrace our breath. We start to embrace our words. We start to embrace what we desire, what we want, what we need. And we hold true to our voice more and more. Even if it's a little prickly at time, it's like, no, this is what I need to say, and this is why I need to say it. We then move to our subconscious emotional self. And this leads us to the Knight of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, right? We can become very intense, very focused, very much, kind of like there just needs to be action here. And we cut through a lot of doubts and fears and negativity. But there can also be a hastiness to us, a sense, again, of just needing action, of just needing to make everything right or make everything what we perceive as perfect. And we need to kind of step back from that and look at how we accelerate our own story, how we accelerate our own blessings, how we really embrace what we love and what we want within our world, and we become our own hero. It moves us then to our subconscious public arena self, and that's the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is prosperity and success and bounty and abundance. It's hard work paying off. It's knowing that, yes, there's more hard work to come, absolutely. But in this moment, in this time, I'm cherishing where I am and what I have. Even if it takes a moment for us to kind of call out the blessings, as we call out the blessings, we embrace our lives, our souls, and ourselves. We give gratitude for who we are, for where we're headed, and for the road that has gotten us there. All right, Sagittarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the beauty of this time. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Sagittarius.